This is what it looks like inside as they try to offer care not only to children who were already ill, but also deal with injuries from the fighting. Dr. Dymtro Ishchenko is a neurosurgeon at the hospital in Kyiv. That is where we reached him earlier. And a warning, this conversation contains disturbing details. I began by asking him to explain how the hospital was coping.
Nowadays, the situation is critical because we still have a lot of patients, a lot of critical patients with different brain pathologies. Now we have our neurosurgical department has about 25 patients with neuro-oncology, with neurotrauma. And of course, we try to struggle with all this. We try to fight with these circumstances, and we try to provide the best treatment options for our patients. For example, some of our patients went abroad to reach good medical options for them, especially uro-oncology patients who need radiotherapy or chemotherapy, because the situation in Kyiv nowadays become more serious. We heard a lot of explosions. Kyiv districts are bombarded by Russian forces, and of course, in these conditions, our patients, our little patients, can't afford good treatment results.
What happens when there is bombing, sir? Doctor, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but help us understand when, we've heard about these nightly curfews. Have you you're bringing the patients into the basements, or how is the hospital continuing to function?
When the war began, it was December 24th, we decided to move all our patients to a basement. And we opened a neurosurgical department. We tried to improvise, and we opened the neurosurgical department in a cellar, but there are not very good conditions for our patients, especially post-op patients. Of course, we did cleaning there, but they just sleep on the floors and try to receive enough treatment. Of course, these conditions have a lot of risks for our patients, and to prevent some infection complications, our patients receive an overdoses of antibiotics. As well, we have a few cases of neurotrauma, and these patients with neurotrauma are still in ICU department now. And today, just before our interview, we received a call from emergency service that we should be ready for 2 emergency cases, but unfortunately, one of the baby died before he reached our hospital.
Is this the baby was injured in the fighting?
Headshot.
Pardon me?
Yeah, headshot.
How?
He had a bullet in his head.
And just a baby, you say?
Yeah, just a baby. I don't know all nuances about this case because the ambulance didn't come to us.
How do you cope in the midst of all of this? I mean, you're describing children at risk, children who are already very sick, at risk of infection. I know there are questions about having the supplies that you need, the food, the medicine. How are you coping?
Nowadays, we have a lot of volunteer organizations who try to help us. For example, one of the biggest neuro-oncology volunteers, Tabletочки, try to to move all our patients who need another stages of neuro-oncology treatment like chemo abroad. And a lot of volunteers try to bring us enough food, meds, and any goods of first need. But of course, we try to save all our meds and try to think through about any prescription because we clearly understand that in a massive victim, if a lot of victims come to us, we should provide trade in the military times.
What do you want the world to know right now about what your needs are, the needs of your patients? What's your message?
My message is very clear. The war is a very frightening thing, and a lot of civilians struggle about this war. And I think that society, global society, know about military crimes of Russian military forces, because now we faced with bombarding of civilian districts, not military objects, but civilian districts. We have a lot of patients through civilians who just met Russian soldiers and were killed by them. And all society should spread this information in their social medias and to force politicians to help us in some ways, because we clearly understand that in this way we can't resolve this problem.
So what do you want? You talk about help. What would that look like?
Political support for Ukraine, first of all. It's very important for us. For example, European Union should close our air for any planes and should support us for evacuation of people, because Russian forces forbid to evacuate civilians from occupied cities.
Doctor, I cannot imagine how difficult your work is right now. We are very grateful that you made time to speak to us today about all of this, and we wish you and all of your patients the best.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.